All right, ladies and gentlemen, we'd like to welcome everyone to our first press conference of 2023. The way this will work today, we have people live at the press conference. They'll be asking questions, and then some on Zoom. So if you're on Zoom, please raise your hand, and then we'll call on you. So to get everything started, the way it'll be, Coach Stock will come up with some opening comments and then answer any questions you have, and then we'll bring up our student athletes. So the Blue Raiders open up the season this week on Saturday at Alabama. So to talk about that and what lies ahead, I'd like to get started with head coach Rick Stockstill.
Thank you, AC. Appreciate everybody being here and being on Zoom. It's game week and fired up. This is in our world, it's the greatest week of the year. And I'm sure every coach, every player in the country is saying that now. But we're excited about it. We've had a really, really good off season going all the way back to January, then through spring practice this summer, and then camp. So I like where we're at right now. I like our team. It's a very, very committed and competitive team. And so I'm excited about these guys and looking forward to watching them play. Obviously, we've got a tremendous challenge and a tremendous opportunity this week with Alabama, one of the best teams in the country. They lose 2 games last year by a total of 4 points, and everybody thinks the sky's falling down there. So it's really, really talented team. We've got to play well. We expect to play well, and just looking forward to getting down there and starting this season off. So they got a lot of good players, but we got a lot of good players too. And I believe in our team, and we've got to play well. Anytime you play a team like Alabama, a top 2-3 team in the country, you got to play well. You can't give them anything. You got to make them earn everything they get. And then we've got to play really well. So that's our expectation, and we'll go down there and play. And I expect us to play good. I expect us to there's never any question that we'll play hard. I know we'll play hard. But I expect us to go down there and play well this weekend. So looking forward to this opportunity. So I'll open it up to you guys.
Coach Sam Doughton, GoBlueRaiders.com. Alabama's got 2 new coordinators this year, but one on offense, one on defense. How do you go about preparing for what could be some new looks from a team when you don't have any tape on them for week 1?
Well, I think anytime you look at Alabama when they've had coordinator changes, schematically they haven't changed that much. Kevin Steele, the defensive coordinator, this is his 3rd time with Coach Saban at Alabama. He was at Miami last year as the defensive coordinator. And what they did at Miami was there's some carryover, there's some similarity to what, he had done at Alabama while he was there. So, we're preparing for Alabama, and then same thing offensively, coming from Notre Dame, Tommy coming from Notre Dame there. I don't foresee them changing drastically. I know they want to run the ball better than what they did last year, or maybe a little bit more effectively than what they did last year. So you play that into it. They got the quarterback dilemma a little bit, who it's going to be, but whoever they put out there is going to be a talented player. So we've got enough tape. We've watched a little bit of Notre Dame. We've watched a little bit of Miami. We've watched a lot of Alabama.
Coach Cecil Joyce, Daily News Journal. Coach, talk about the quarterback situation at Alabama, and do you expect multiple quarterbacks, and how does that affect how you prepare for them?
I don't know what to expect. Just putting, myself in those shoes, they may want to play multiple guys. They redshirted a couple guys last year. They got a transfer in from Notre Dame, so maybe they want to play multiple guys. I don't know. It's not my team. So, we'll prepare. We've watched a little bit of all those guys, and we'll prepare for whoever comes out there. And that's all you can do. You can't worry about who they're going to play or what they're going to do. Control what we can control. That's all we can do. So whoever goes out there schematically, it's not going to be I don't think it's going to be a drastic change from, Ty Simpson to, this guy to the other guy, whoever it's going to be. So go out there and do our job, do it the best that we can do it, and hopefully that's good enough.
Chip Walters, Blue Raider Network. Your quarterback situation, you have come out of spring this year pretty much knowing who your guy was going to be. And talk a little bit about Nick's story and, having been a bowl MVP 2 years ago to redshirting last year. It's kind of unique.
Yeah, and I'm not saying this because Nick's in here, but I love Nick. I respect Nick. I respect the heck out of him all the way back to recruiting him in high school, when he had to go through he was part of the COVID deal where, lost his season but wanted to play, so he went to another place so he could play, and then coming here, sight unseen, he wasn't able to visit here, and just the relationship that we developed is special to me, and then coming in as a freshman, he wasn't ready at that, when he first got here, and not many of them are. So plan was to redshirt him. Then we had one quarterback leave, and then Chase got hurt, and ultimately we thought, Nick gave us the best chance to win, and he proved that was accurate. And so in this day and time, it's hard for guys not to be selfish, and you don't play at all. You're on the scout team. You don't play at all for 7 weeks, 7 games, and then here comes coach. Hey, you want to give up your redshirt year in the middle of a game, and he didn't blink an eye. And I respect guys like that. And so he played those 5 games his true freshman year, and I told him, I said, the next year, compete for the job. If you're the guy, you'll be it. And if not, try to get your redshirt year back. And, Chase, played, and Chase had a great year. And Nick came in a couple games last year when Chase went down. But Nick is a great teammate. He's a great player. He's fun to coach. He works extremely hard. And, now he's earned this opportunity to lead this team out of the tunnel the first game. And, just have a lot of respect for him and admiration for him and what he's done in a short period of time here. Heck, he's played, 7 games, something like that, 6 games, whatever it is, not even complete games. And, I'm very, very confident in Nick and very confident that he's going to have a heck of a year this year.
Coach, you've coached down at Alabama in 2015 with the Blue Raiders. You have a lot of coaches on staff that played in that game. What are y'all telling the team this year about to prepare for that environment specifically?
We'll meet tomorrow. I didn't talk about it one time during camp. It's they know who we play. We'll talk a little bit about it, but all that stuff. We've been in big stadiums. We've been in loud stadiums. Played music loud the other day in practice during some team stuff just so the offense could get acclimated a little bit to, some crowd noise. But I didn't say, hey, Nick, this is what it's going to be like on Saturday. Just played it, and I don't make a big deal out of that kind of stuff. And, Brent and Marquise and Shane and those guys have played down there and all that stuff. So, same thing as last year at Miami, same thing at Syracuse, and same thing at Missouri, all that kind of stuff. We just, we go down there and roll up our sleeves and go to work and fight our guts out for 60 minutes.
Coach, Calvin White, MTSU sidelines. I know that the first game isn't always, the best measuring stick, especially against an opponent like Alabama. But after all the work you guys have put in during camp, is there something specific that you're hoping to take away from this opening week?
Yeah, I think that's the big thing is you just want to go out and play as clean a game as you can. And you always look at first games. Most of the time, people lose the game. They don't get beat in first games because of mistakes that they make, whether it be in the kicking game or give up big plays on defense, or you turn the ball over on offense. So to go down there and play a clean game, our objective is to win this game, but to do that, we've got to play clean. We've got to play smart. We can't do things to beat ourselves. And with, like I said, penalties, turnovers, missed tackles, giving up big plays, things in the kicking game that, tend to show up a little bit more in first games.
One connection between you and Coach Saban I didn't know about this week was your daughter Emily actually worked for him a little bit when she was a student down there in the football office. What do you remember about her experiences down there that she's told you about, and sort of that connection between the two of y'all?
Yeah, she had a great experience. Whatever they won, 3 SEC championships, 2 national championships. They went to the playoffs all the years that she was there. She was involved in the recruiting part of it. She was involved in the logistics, part of it. So it was a great experience for her to be around that. And, and then her, they'd go in the SEC championship, then she'd go with us to the Bahamas Bowl, and she'd come back and go to the playoffs with them. And she had a great experience, and just being around a lot of, good coaches down there. Burton Burns, who's not coaching there anymore, but a lot of good people. Coach Saban obviously, but it was a great experience for her, and she'll be down there, this week also to rekindle her friendships with the Alabama people, and hopefully she'll be rooting for her daddy and her brother.
Coach, new rules in effect this year. What did you see any games over the weekend, and how any of the timing rules and things like that might have an effect?
No, and I'm on the rules committee, so I've got a pretty good understanding of everything they've said. That just keeping the clock running after first downs, other than the last 2 minutes of the second and fourth quarters. They're talking about taking anywhere from 5 to 7 plays out of a game. And when you watch a game on TV, you're not sitting there, that's 58, that's 59. So it's hard to see. The one thing that came up, you can't call back-to-back timeouts, is I believe it was UTEP. They called a timeout. Then they had a substitution deal right after the timeout where they didn't get the playoff, and they called another timeout. Can't do it, so it was a 5-yard penalty. So I don't think to the normal person and the normal eye and the naked eye, you're going to sit there and say, yeah, that was a really, really fast game. I think it's just going to take, people getting used to that clock not stopping.
Any other question for Coach Stock today? Okay, Oscar, go ahead.
Thank you very much. Coach, good morning from Mexico City. You name it, no? This is a great game for the college, for the university. What is your opinion about this game versus Alabama transcends the frontiers? Here in Mexico and 17 countries, we'll be watching this kickoff of this new season. Could you say some words to all the people?
Yeah, you're breaking up a little bit, but if all the way to Mexico City, I appreciate all the.
Thank you very much. Have a great week.
Appreciate you, my man. You broke up a little bit, but to all the people out there in Mexico City, I appreciate you watching. Hope you guys will cheer on us, and I just appreciate you taking the time to call in here. That's pretty special. It's pretty cool that you'd call in here and do that. So we're excited to go down and play Alabama. Like I said earlier, we're looking forward to this opportunity and challenge. And I appreciate all you guys there in Mexico City watching us and cheering us on.
Okay, Chris, go ahead.
Great. Hey, Coach. Good morning.
Morning, Chris. How you doing, my man?
Great. Good to see you. You were talking about your quarterback earlier, and I was just curious, kind of your thoughts on protecting him against knowing kind of what Alabama's defensive scheme is like and how they're able to rush the passer. What's the key to keeping your quarterback upright, and B, having him be able to execute the offense with that pass rush?
Yeah, I don't have any issues, any doubts that Nick will execute our offense. Our offensive line has done a really good job this camp. We've done a good job, and the thing, they're talented. They're going to come out with pressures and all that kind of stuff, but we've just got to be able to communicate and pick them up. And then I think the big thing is just, once you get outside the pocket, understand and know, and this doesn't matter if you're playing Alabama or, the Georgetown High School Wampus Cats. It doesn't matter. Once you get outside the pocket, understand, when the play is over and get down and live for the next down. So, but I don't have any doubts that our line will do a good job, our backs will do a good job, Nick will get us in the right protection, and he'll sit back there like a man and compete. And like I said, as a quarterback, you're standing there, you're standing upright, and you got another 6'5", 300-pound man coming barreling right down at you, and you got to sit there in the pocket, and you got to sit there and make the throw and take it on the chin sometimes. That's part of being a quarterback, and Nick's got that toughness, and so we'll do a good job. Hopefully we do a good job protecting him.
Anything else for Coach?
Good deal. Appreciate y'all. Thank you.
All right, everyone, it's now time for our student athletes. Today we have quarterback Nick Vattiato and safety Trey Fluellen. We'll get started with Nick.
Hey, Nick, Cecil Joyce here. Nick, talk about what Coach Brent Stockstill has spoken to you guys in the quarterback room, or more specifically you, about his experience having quarterback down there.
Yeah, I remember briefly speaking about it. Really, it started because last year Chase and we would always pull up old games of Brent, and he hated it because he would walk in the room and we'd be watching him, and he'd be like, "What are you guys doing?" But honestly, briefly spoke about it. I remember he said he was still pretty young at the time. One of his first games he played in, he said it's a big opportunity. Go out there and it's the same game you've been playing your whole life. It's football at the end of the day. But obviously he said it's a great atmosphere to play in. It's a great experience and opportunity. And like I said, it hasn't been much more than that, but yeah.
Sam Dowden here. We spoke a little bit with Coach about the unique circumstances of how you've gotten into the game with this team in the past. Does it feel any different now going into the season, knowing you're the starter, than it did the past weeks when you knew that going in?
Yeah, I think definitely a little bit. I think going back to my freshman year, it was kind of like midway through the year, just kind of go into it and just start playing. And then last year, Chase went down 1 week, and I stepped in for the 1 week, and we made it work. And I think being able to go through this spring, this summer, all throughout camp has been really good, not just for myself, but for everyone on the offense to kind of start create some chemistry, some camaraderie with each other. And I think we've done a hell of a job all throughout camp and kind of building that trust with each other. I know Coach Stu's big on that, building trust, and so I feel really comfortable back there. I trust all my guys. Excited to get rolling this week.
Nick, talk a little bit about that trust when it comes to your offensive line and how you go about that as a leader on the offense and trying to build that.
Yeah, they've done a hell of a job all throughout the spring. Put the work they'd put in over the summer, and then all throughout camp. I think they've just been playing their butts off, and I trust each and every one of them, whether it's the first group, the second group, the third group. They all have been playing super hard. They've been communicating well, which I think has been super important for us. If you look at game film from last year compared to what we've been doing in camp this year, I think their communication's at an all-time high. It's helped them pass off twists and stunts and all that kind of thing, and they've done a hell of a job protecting not just me, but any quarterback who's in there. And it's been really nice to kind of know when you drop back that you have 5 guys up there protecting for you, and it makes your job a little easier too. So I love those guys, trust them to the fullest, and appreciate everything they do.
A little bit more difficult to do this for week one just because you don't have any tape of this year's team. But looking at last year's team, some of the stuff maybe you're seeing from their new DC, what impressed you about this Alabama defense? But before y'all head down there,
yeah, I mean, it goes without saying they're a well coached team. They know what they're doing. Rarely do they ever have a busting coverage or a missed assignment on defense. Their front seven they're strong, they're fast. They're very gap controlled. They never get out of their gap. And I think, when you go up against something like that, it can be a challenge. But I think Coach Stock says to us, we're just going to go down there and do what we do. And, as long as we do that, we'll put ourselves in the right position to win. But, I mean, that's a very good defense. They have great players. And, like I said, that goes without saying, great coaching. I think it's just more about not shooting ourselves in the foot. We have to go down there, do what we do, what we've been doing all throughout camp, and put ourselves in the best position to win.
Any more questions for Nick? All right, thanks, Nick. And now we'll get Trey Fluellen.
Trey, we were talking. I remember seeing a speech from you in camp talking about wanting to make a mark for Middle Tennessee this season, and this is a big game environment with a chance to do that. What are y'all talking about in the locker room about the opportunity that y'all have as a team this weekend?
Yeah, for the most part, obviously we're playing Alabama. Everybody knows who Alabama is. Not a lot of people know who Middle Tennessee is. Only time that people really understood who Middle Tennessee was is after the Miami game. So for the most part, just trying to make us known as a team rather than us just being different players and just executing our job.
Hey, Trey, Cecil Joyce here. The excitement of not only the first game, but being on the road, playing one of the nation's powerhouses. How do you stay within yourself and not get too anxious, too overexcited out there on the field and make busted coverage because of that?
I think for the most part, just having leadership and having an understanding of what's really going on. Obviously, at the end of the day, we're playing football, so us leaders, us captains, keeping the team under control, which we have a lot of great other dudes who are leading on the team. It's not just us captains. So us just understand that we have to play the next play and just keep playing the next play and understand that there's going to be ups and downs is the biggest thing that's going to go on this year. So being mature and being ready.
One of those leaders on the defense who isn't a captain this year is Devin Curtis, who gets you all a lot of times into the play from the sideline. How is he sort of like a stabilizing force for you guys at that Mike linebacker position?
Yeah, it's Devin Curtis. Obviously, he's an All-American, and you can see it on and off the field. He does a great job of coming in, doing the things that we're supposed to do. He doesn't do anything wrong for the most part. Off the field, he's holding everybody accountable, doing everything right, and anytime you have a guy that's doing that, it's going to be that much better of a team. Going to make you that much better of a team. So really appreciate of Devin.
This defense has been either number 1 or number 2 in getting turnovers the last 2 years. Obviously, Coach Schaefer, get the dang ball back. That's the last thing he says almost every day. Talk about the attitude of having that as what you guys want to accomplish.
You have young guys, you have old guys, but anytime you have a coach who has that much pride and something like that, it makes you want to go that much harder for him. So I can honestly say since I've been here, I've done nothing but want to go hard for that coach, and very thankful that he's in my life, because without him, I would not be here. And he did a little speech a couple weeks ago, or I want to say last week, talking about get the ball back, get the dang ball back, and kind of hit home for everybody because it's getting close to game week, getting close to game time. So everybody's fired up right now. As you said a while ago, we got to maintain and keep ourselves on composure and stuff. But Coach Schaefer, playing for Coach Schaefer has been a joy.
We talked a little bit about this with Coach Stockstill, but obviously we don't really know who the quarterback will be for Alabama. How do y'all approach that, in the film room, on the practice field this week against the Stout team, getting ready for what might be some contrasting looks out of that position?
Like Nick said, it's a game. It's another game. We've been playing this our whole lives, if not, longer than that. So we're not really too much worried about that. I think for the most part we're just going to go out and play, do what we do, like Nick said. We're not really worried about any certain things. You know, it's Bama. We know that. We just got to come to play. Coach Stocks talked about how we need to keep away from, mess ups and stuff like that. That's how you lose and win first games. So we're just going to go out and do our thing, do what we know, do what we practice, and play who we are.
Anything else for Trey?
Thank you, guys.
All right, everyone, just want to remind you, even though it is Labor Day next Monday, we will still have our press conference, just like we will every Monday before a game. And then later on in the year, this will happen on a couple of Fridays due to our midweek schedule. So anyway, thank you all for being here, and we'll see you next week.